right. I thought you are proceeding. We are proceeding from where we stopped, but we need to discuss. I think the far we left, it's already having several episodes. So we better talk about from, we stopped here. Yeah, from page 77, Silas and Martin. Is that where we are?
Yes.
Yeah. So can we discuss what happens there? Then we can proceed. Remember, in this story, the focus is more on the challenges of street families. Then it's also talking about survival for the fittest, because it teaches us that sometimes when there is that need, that's when people seek for how to survive. And generally the hurdles in the urban areas, especially to street families. So let's look at page 77 from Silas. What did you see? What did you notice, maybe? Yes.
Silas and Martin decided to look for essentials.
For? So there is a particular grouping, right?
Yes.
When these people are living in the streets, they have decided to have what we call specialization. And as we have seen Omagano, we have already discussed her role. We have seen Elias, his role, Lazarus, his role, right? Now we have been brought to Silas and Martin, and their role is to look for essentials. Now, what are the examples of essentials mentioned there? Yeah. I'm sure most of you live near even small markets, even as Bikeke or Kiminini, or those of you who live in near big cities, especially Nairobi. When you are living there, you find that there are people who go about even on dustbins picking stuff, and they target maybe metallic, some plastics, some computer devices. Some of them, you will find that even if you leave your container outside, they'll just pick and go with it. Like a container for water, they'll pick because they know there is people who actually pay after measuring the plastics. And therefore, you'll find a lot of them with sacks, collecting bottles and what have you. All those are called essentials. If you go to Kariobangi in Nairobi, there's a place where there's a car and also making of doors and windows. That place is infested by a lot of street families because they know the metallic aspect, they pick something. I don't know how they acquire it. There is something that normally it's magnetic and it attracts any metal, even if it's a small piece. And those ones are a bit sold highly than plastics. So you'll find those are what they call essentials. So while you throw everything, for them it's very essential, and they pick this stuff, then sell them. But we notice something there against the rules. What do we notice? Yes? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Silas is fond of stealing. He goes about at construction places, then picks a wheelbarrow that has just been left, not necessarily thrown away. Then he relocates it to a different place, then sells. Sometimes phones. He picks phones, and when he's asked, what does he say? He discovered it. So he just says he discovered it, yet he stole it. He knows very well, but he's playing by the rules of the group because the group is against stealing, since it can attract the police towards them. Then below, what do we see? I think it's still the same. Now we go to 78. What do we learn there? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, remember that's a survival tactic. If you are many staying together and you are jobless, possibly you are surviving, you need to devise ways of finding things. And you cannot go all of you in the same direction because automatically you'll not find enough. So they separate ways. While Omagano goes to CBD alongside Elias and Lazarus to scout around for rubbish, food left in the rubbish bins and whatever. The other group, Silas and Martin, they go for essentials. And once they have worked the entire day or the hours they have allocated themselves, they meet later in the evening. So, of course, there's a common question you are going to automatically find it, how the street families survive. The fact that streets are harsh and you have to devise ways of surviving for you to make it. What more do we see? Yeah.
The crew learned that they cannot survive by being alone, all trying to survive. Maybe in the neighborhoods that you only get what you want.
Yeah. So there is one thing about even the people who are looking for odd jobs. Odd jobs including even washing clothes. If you go around where people are trying to survive, of course, everybody will wash their own clothes. They will not allow you to wash their clothes. So people who are looking for odd jobs normally go to rich places. That's why you'll find that there is always a slum near a place that is opulent. Like if you go to Nairobi, most of the places which are upcoming, and they are a bit higher, around it there is a slum. Why? Because there are people who are coming there to survive and to make sure that they can work for these people as maids or mama fua or something, those kind of odd jobs, so that they can survive. So we see the group of the Neighborhood Watch, they have chosen to work in rich neighborhoods because that is where they can derive something. Remember the essentials. Do you find easily a poor person who will throw away a container that is good enough? No. Even metals, where do they really find them? They have simple things, and before they throw them away, they are already exhausted. Even food, do they throw away food easily? No. They don't. So these people decide also another tactic is to go for neighborhoods which have people with enough property. And now they give us some history behind all that. What is the history behind this decision? And maybe you can tell us about the people who encountered a challenge before they chose to do this. So in the next paragraph, someone can tell us, or the next part, what happens. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what kind of garbage do they throw away? We are told somewhere, page 78. Yeah. The very last page, paragraph, I think page 79, we were told, what do they throw? Yes. Yeah. So we have very dirty stuff, which is totally useless. Like, where do you take a used condom? Where do you take, clothes with women's blood? Where do you take what else? Food, old food, which means maybe it's already stale. So such stuff is not beneficial. And there is something else that was found. A baby. They are bought and they throw those children in the cans. So, and of course, according to the belief of the group, when you find a dead child, that is bad omen. It may not be ending well with you as you go by looking for survival. So they are saying poor people only throw away themselves. They have nothing to offer. So that was after Elias and Lazarus actually had been going about as two of them working together, moving a bit fast because they are two. But they discovered that in poor people's places, there is hardly anything you can choose. So on Thursdays and Tuesdays, of course, they used to go to specific places, and they have mentioned those places there because they have to be strategic also. Where do we go on this day? What about this? But they realized that those four places, that is Wanaheda, Okungava, Katutura, and Hakana. And then there is Gorenga. They were very low places because you had to forage for everything. You are checking and you are not literally getting specifically something outstanding until that day they found a dead child. I think that covers that page. It covers 79, 8 and 79, right? Is there something you've not mentioned? Really? Yeah, we've just known the history of Lazarus, which may not be necessary. I've never seen a question about the challenges he went through before he came to the streets. The fact that he was in war. Yeah, but we can go to the next, page 80. I think we've covered also that. We can read the next part.
When there is in day fast, commands the
What has happened to the energy? Let's read with some energy.
Pray in day fast, commands God. There are some neighborhoods not worth fighting over. Dorado Park and Commercial are crowded with others serving, robbing cliffs. The neighborhoods are already spoken for. All the places that break the wind have long-term tenants, and all the generous churches already have their smuggling regulars. The neighborhood watch never enters commercial because people drink too much there. Alcohol is what you Amos. Not really. It was pride. After a particularly good week, Elias, Lazarus, and Amos decided to water their throats at one of the many bottle stores that siphon husbands away from their wives and families on Friday and Saturday nights. They shared their quarters of lemonade to start, then a cheap whiskey, then some more beer. If there were two things Amos could never hold, it was his tongue and his drink. But it was his tongue that carried more consequences. It was his tongue that cursed people with swear words that could score the grime and farm of a dirty pavement. It was his tongue that goaded people on. It was his tongue that called someone an ugly word. That same tongue refused to apologize for the slight. To back down from anything. Then there were three things Amos could not hold: his tongue, his drink, and his gas. Quickly, in, out, and then slashed across. Amos looked at his bloody hands and tottered on the spot. Before the fall comes, Amos fell. Everyone cried. If there is one thing that is bad for friends or foe, temporarily homeless and permanently on the pavement, it is a dead body. A dead body has to be explained to the police, who likes their so explanation can be sped up by a few button bashes in the back of a police van. By the time they throw someone in the holding cell, half the crime has already been solved. The paperwork is what seems to frustrate them the most. That is why everyone ran. Even Elias and Lazarus, especially Elias and Lazarus. The first thing the police do is look for the dead body's living parts. They kick harder. But if someone has the good sense of keeping the living part because nobody wants a magistrate to ask questions of cuts, bruises, and bumps. Sometimes, when there has been a stretch of robberies or a murder, the police are not close quickly enough. They come around and ask someone to take the fall. Jail has food and shelter, and sometimes there's food like a good meal. If it is a murder that has made headlines, they will offer even better conditions. A single cell, maybe more food, maybe put you in the same block as a friend. Sometimes someone takes the offer. The streets are not for everyone. Elias and Lazarus ran until their lungs gave out, and then they continued on. When the finally caught up with Elias and Lazarus, they were interrogated roughly at first and then they were questioned politely. Elias said polite questioning was the worst thing he had ever endured. Worse, even, than being beaten for days on end when he was taught by the Afrikaners during the insurgency years. They were eventually let go because they refused to change their story. Yes, they were there when Amos was stabbed. They ran because they were afraid. No, they did not do it. No, they would not say that they did it. No, they did not say who did it. No, they could not identify anyone if they were shown pictures. Would they then, to a reasonable degree, and of course, a bruised, bleeding degree, be certain that they had not, in fact, murdered Amos for $200 and then ran away after eating the bloody knife that lay on the table in front of them? Yes, they could be, for their reasonableness and eyes, 3 broken ribs appear and limbs that took days to heal. Again, really, all things bones healed, cuts stop bleeding, everything grows over and grows back, except life. Elias and Lazarus were lucky, but they chose not to go back to Pamoda in case the man who killed Amos thought they were out of it. Friday and Saturday, headquarters. Friday and Saturday are generally spent under the bridge at headquarters. Elias calls it that because it used to be the circle. He calls broken bottles and tones APMs. When someone has a wound that needs to be looked at, he said it is time for a tapas study and when they are low on food. He said it is time for the rats. Headquarters is a safer place to be on Friday and Saturdays because those are the days when the police drive around looking for any signs of mischief. They are the days when crime is most likely to manifest itself. Amos died on a Friday night. Silas cannot resist leaving headquarters though. He calls to Martin to join him, but Lazarus says no. Martin cannot go. If Silas is going, he must go by himself. If mischief finds him, he must know no one will come to look for him. Elias, Lazarus, Omagano, and Martin sit at headquarters and talk about what they saw in the streets that day. They talk about the fools who sit by the roadside enjoying windows and errors, hoping they can paint a roof, fix a window, install a sink, or lay some tiles. They are too proud to be like us, Elias says, but they are the ones going home hungry every day. Pride is poor food, Lazarus says, but sometimes they can find a job. Martin shouts. They can sometimes, Elias answers, but they can find a job as often as they can find $20,000. How many times have we found $20,000? Martin's broke furrows as he thinks and makes Lazarus laugh. Idiots, he says. Maybe things can get better for them, Martin says. Elias and Lazarus look at him and then at each other. They sense hope. The spot that led the street from your hiding place. Maybe it's tomorrow. Light it, badly, Lazarus says. And there is only today, Elias added. Today you need food. Today you need shelter. Today you need to take care of today. And tomorrow, Martin asks, Omagano perhaps. Every day is today, Elias says.
Okay, before you go to Sunday, let's deal with Friday and Saturday. Now remember, one of them is in the past. That is Homasdal. Wednesday and Friday, Saturday. So let's begin with Wednesday. Remember that is in the past, what used to be. So let's experience what happened to them, whether they stopped going there, and what was the experience to the group for Wednesday in Homasdal. Yes.
Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood will go to commerce because people drink too much.
Yeah, it was like a day to go and maybe have some leisure, kind of. Then what happened? What happened to them? Yes?
Amos is killed.
Mm-hmm. Can you give some more details, maybe?
Amos is killed
Mm-hmm.
because his wife and his son. He cursed people, swear once that he lost go upright and fall of that building. His son ordered and people.
Yeah, so Amos used to be very abusive. Yes? Why immediately do we have 3 or 4 people going out? But unfortunately, I don't know whether you've been in other schools or whether this happens in other schools. That's what I've failed to understand. But anyway, because it's your culture and you love it, you go forth. We'll go ahead and learn with the steward then. Yeah, so we realized that during, that is Wednesdays, they could go to Homasdal, and this place was full of possibly music and people drinking. Now, Amos drank, and when he drank, he could show a lot of insults, he could curse people, he could use words, and he would never apologize. And on one moment while he did that, a given guy had to actually use a knife to, strike him, and he died on the spot. Now, after death, there is something that happened. What happened once Amos is dead? Yeah. Yes?
Everyone evacuates from that place and runs away, even Elias and Lazarus.
Maybe you may explain why they did so.
They are afraid of being asked questions by the police or people to.
Yeah, remember when murder happens and you are a witness, you must be questioned, right?
Yes.
You are supposed to write a statement in relation to what happened. And so people knew that the police would sometimes even force you to admit that you did it when you did not. So once Amos died, Elias and Lazarus who were with him had to disappear. But still they were found by the police. So what happened to them? What happened to them after the police caught up with them? Yes.
The police asked them several questions, but they say they don't know anything in relationship with the dead body.
So they were really interrogated toughly, and all along they kept saying they don't know anything to do with whoever killed, and they did not do it as well, but still they were put in, right? Yes. And what happened again? Apart from interrogation, there is something that happens to them. Yes? Yes. And because of that, the police did something. What did they do? Hey, please, at least have some etiquette. You have moved from outside, just sit without us even knowing that you are sitting. Yes.
Since you know that they were let go of our soul and broken ribs and yes, since the God.
They were beaten up violently, not just softly. Because for you to have your ribs broken, and not just one, we are told 3, right?
Yes.
And then we are told their eyes were swollen. And apart from that, they had what? swollen eyes, 3 broken ribs, and the limbs also. Yeah, so they were let go, but you can see the brutality. So we see that the police brutality against the is automatically they knew these are street people, and there is no loss if you put them in. Possibly that's why they were being terrorized like that. Yeah. So the only thing they had is that they were still living, but they left when they are sick. And remember, they were not going to be treated by anybody. Related to the story, we know that that would not happen. Now, what do they decide after this? The decision they make, because we have said that was their past. Homasdal is no longer a place they go to. Yeah.
They chose not to go back to Homasdal until the man who killed their husband, they were outlawed. They were outlawed in the police.
Yeah. So they are scared. There is the aspect of fear. They live in fear because they cannot go back. Possibly the person would still kill them, thinking that they would report him or identify him. So they avoid that place. Now on Saturday and Friday, we are told they normally go to the headquarters. They remain in the headquarters, not going as such. So what do they do here and why? Why do they choose to be in the headquarters on Friday and Saturday? Because that is where their bridge is, of course, yeah.
Because that was the day when we were driving the street.
Yeah, so in fact, in most nations, I don't know, the police like mistreating people on Friday and Saturday because they know you can easily give them money, since there is no court session on weekends. So they know if they arrest you on Friday, even if they ask for a bribe of 20,000, you'll be willing to give at least 10 because you don't want to be in for 2 days. So they could go about arresting people on such a day because that is a day for them, of course. No wonder someone was suggesting that court sessions should even go on weekends so that the police stop that habit of arresting people on Fridays or Saturdays. So we see that during that day, most of them had to be stuck. All of them, apart from one, they were stuck in their specific territory to avoid a lot of problems with the police. And that is another survival tactic, because once they are arrested, no one would actually go to help them in any defense. What else do we see there? Yeah.
That was the day when if anyone was injured or anyone was angry,
Yeah, yeah.
they would get
They would get?
yes, they all I mean, yes, we get yes, we take care of that day.
Yeah, so in case Omagano, Lazarus, or any of them was hurt, at least that would be now a day to attend to them, because now they are all in the headquarters, their bridge. So they could now handle that problem right there on their own. So you realize that if there is anything to do with a problem, whether mental, psychological, or medical, or physical, they did not have anyone to sort them out apart from themselves. And out of the group, who was this notorious person still? Silas. Yeah, Silas still felt like he has to leave the place. But the rest of them warned him that in case he finds himself in a problem, he will sort himself because no one will do. And then they come out to show us the other side, that they are not the only ones who are struggling. Who else is struggling, and how do we see this? Because in that section, they are trying to show us that the struggle to survive or poverty is not just a problem of the street families. Just like we saw the other part where the staffs in the hotels would carry home food that was not very clean. Yeah?
There are other people who also sit by the roadside on playing window containers, hoping to get a room to paint or fix some window or install a sink.
Yeah, so we have skilled people, because they have gone through training. They don't want to go begging and foraging like the street families. However, their life is not so good, because according to the street families, at least for them, they can collect how many dollars? $20. That is, if you multiply by around 150, that comes to 3,000, right? Oh, $20,000. Yes. Oh, I thought it's something $20, $20,000, which is a lot of money. So compared to the workers who sit around looking for a job and sometimes they don't get it. Even though there are days they get it, they don't get it all the time. So we learn that these people are struggling for food, shelter, and we've already seen others like health, space, security. Yeah. So we can pick Sunday.
Playing with hope and arrows. Sundays are the best days. Arrows and playing with hope have the highest scores. Dogs safely penned behind fences. Beans lined up on the pavement and, most importantly, people who recycle the paper, cardboard, plastic bottles, tin cans and aluminium foil are sorted into separate plastic bags. Some people even wash their trash before they throw it away. Everything else that is of no use goes in the big green bins, which is a much more efficient way to forage. It saves time, mitigates disappointment. Those salons are also close to headquarters, so the neighborhood watch does not have to stray too far from their home. The best thing about Eros is always she sits on her front porch in the early evening with her son, waiting for the neighborhood watch to come by. When she sees them wheeling their trolley down her street, she calls to them. They pause by her gate as she goes into the house. They wait while she makes her slow, brittle way to the electric gate. Shakes circling in and out on her gums. Her son watching her every step. Her gate slides open a fraction and she hands them a plastic bag. Some cans of beans and peas. 2 or 3 bananas. She gave them the pair of scissors they used to cut their hair. She gave them the circle of mirror that shapes their appearance on some days. In winter, she collects old clothes and knits jerseys on blankets from an endless supply of food. She hands them old books, which they burn, and rosaries they read with their fingers in the dead of night when only God and the streets listen. The neighborhood watch has 3 pillars. Elder Street, several fair. Lazarus contained violence and Mrs. generosity. For her, the neighborhood was to fight all the guns of the window if they had to. Lazarus is not a believer, but even he says Mrs. was praying for her too. When she sees them, she asks them how they are. Elias replies for them, all is okay. She asks them if they need anything else. Silas once asked Elias why he never asked for toothbrushes, or soap, or medicine, or a space in her garage where they could sleep. If she was being so generous, Elias said it was because Mrs. took from them more than she gave. She gives and she gives, and we take and we take. Soon she will not be around to give and give, but we will still need to take and take. She gives something from her home to us and takes some of the street away from us. We need all of the street to survive the street. You understand now? The neighborhood watch starts in Avis as the sun is setting, hunting for the new apartment complexes that bring a fresh crop of beans to the interlocked pavements, shying away from joggers who avert their eyes when they see them and don't walkers who study their drips on uses. Then they traverse the citizens of plains where people only put out their beans at the crack of dawn to dissuade the last-minute drivers from penetrating through their streets. That is how bad it has become. Lazarus says, the rich have got so rich they have started hauling their trash. From there they score errors, from top to bottom, through all the streets named after mountains they will never climb, the rivers they shall never see, all the precious stones they will never hold, Everest, Atlas and the Drakensberg, Orange, Kunene, Okavango and Twisted, Amethyst, Topaz and Tourmaline. They roam and roam across the neighborhood like wild beasts following the rains, the streets following them like a hungry predator. They live misunderstood for lust, eager for kindness, afraid of the day when she will no longer be around to give and give, when they will still need to take and take, when there will not be enough strength in them to face the streets. The day before they hit errors, the day before they visit misunderstandings, the neighborhood watch breaks their one rule. They start thinking of the day that is not today. They say goodbye to the day that is yesterday and worse. They start thinking of the day that is tomorrow.
That's the end. So quickly, I'll just mention some things about that. So you see, Sunday they focus on rich people's place, and particularly Miss Bezenhood. It's a kind of is it Portuguese or something name, which is a bit tasky. So if you don't remember the exam, just say the old lady in arrows, right? Yeah, so this lady is very generous to them, offering them a lot of things, including mirror, some food. We can see clothes, mirror, books. What else? Scissors. But do the street family appreciate fully? No. They don't, because they just want too much. They want some shelter. They also want some medicine. They want something more. And most times when you live on the streets, you are never satisfied with whatever little someone gives you. And sometimes you blame them for your problem because they see this person as whoever had to occupy a lot of space. Why not give them some? So at some point, they are receiving, but they are not appreciating. But they still go there every Sunday so that they can survive. So we see them also, at the end, we are told that they kind of say, maybe the old lady, if they really appreciate, very soon she will not be there, and they will not continue to receive whatever they are receiving. So as they continue surviving, they still see a lot of challenges in their life. And the author tells us the survival has been made easy because of this lady, plus the specialization they have done. We've talked about it earlier. And also what? Lazarus' contained violence has also helped them. So I think that is generally the neighborhood watch. I hope you have seen the survival, how this group survives. We've also seen poverty throughout the text, away from street families, the rest. Then we also have to understand the challenges on the street for the street family. So we'll get questions to that, but continue answering the questions. I have few books. I'll see whether to finish marking. So far we've chosen paper 3. So please practice a lot on essays. We know you have problems in that. That's why you have to do that paper 3. Most of you still have a lot of challenges, and we don't practice creative writing. So try to revise creative writing, how to write good compositions, revise on silent song, revise also on the Samaritan, because when we finish, most of you have never done a question. So go back to it, revise whatever we did, get time to discuss with your friends, ask whatever you don't understand, then be set for the 60 marks. Have a good day.